Yeah, when you do that, it's actually recording.
Yeah, this
unlike
that red button shows that actually this time we're not going to let an hour of a podcast go on the
Yeah, yep. So maybe I got that soundbite from the end of the last one going, would you kill me if this wasn't recording?
Exactly.
Oh.
You know the answer, I didn't, but I was close.
I'm still alive. I'm thriving. All right, so we are probably producing horrible sound quality, but that's someone else's problem.
Yeah, quite possibly. I mean, if you're listening to this and you're like, man, I can't really hear them as great as I want to, tough shit. I don't really care.
Yeah, then pay me and I'll go buy some better microphones.
And not only that, let's be honest, you're here to look at my pretty face, so...
There it is.
My pretty face. I mean, we both, we both could say that, but essentially I'm just going to say for myself.
There's a lot of mustache in this car right now.
I'm telling you right now, this podcast is pretty much 95% mustache.
I wonder if I could get like a mustache company to do some sort of like
I have thought about
send me waxes and stuff.
Especially with November coming up.
Look, Fable Beard Company. Love your stuff. It's scented. It's awesome. I smell like pumpkin spice. Caucasian women love it.
Yeah. Caucasian women love it. Yeah, exactly.
PSL.
The whitest of women. Yeah.
Look, man, I have a niche. So.
You don't say.
Yeah. History says. All right, so we're going to quickly hit a recap of the Battlefield games while I try not to run this fucking Tesla off the road, allegedly. So,
get your shit together with your machine.
Yeah, you may not want to brake, but your auto braking's gonna.
These self-driven cars, you get a bunch of fucking commies driving them, and they drive themselves into the ground. More than the commies would.
This is why people come to this podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
So, Battlefield Highland Games was yesterday. I AD'd you through. You showed up super late at the Richmond International Airport Thursday night.
I did, yeah. I think you got to bed at like 1 a.m.
Yeah, we got home shortly after midnight, had a beer, and then passed out.
Yeah, 5 a.m. Let's get up and get
Yep, and now we get to drive an hour to Fredericksburg. So, hell yeah.
For the games, and then, what a terrific thing it was to get there and then find out, well, one of the pros already, backed out, and then to find out that Matt, that piece of shit, he also backed out.
One backed out with heads up. Texted me a couple days ahead, said, the wife has been sick, I may not be able to make it. Hey, look.
Not ideal, but better than nothing.
I just appreciate heads up. That's what keeps me coming back. Then when you call someone and go, hey, man, have you left yet? No, I haven't. Okay, can you grab this? I don't know if I'm coming.
Exactly. No, I haven't left yet because I'm just not going to come. And the games are in an hour, by the way.
Yeah, not even. I think it was after 8 a.m.
Literally like 40 minutes till the start time.
Yeah, so that was really cool. Matt may be dead. No, I'm kidding. He's alive. We've seen something. He's fine.
I know, honestly, I kind of thought maybe it was just hey, I rolled over and I just didn't want to do it for the day, but I think he actually
he may have actually had a real job.
Now, do I still hate him for that fact? Of course.
Yeah, I took a lot of time off this week to host a game and then go, try to shoot deer.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like always in the Virginia area, so it makes sense for him to be like, let's not spend more time with me.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, so. But we got there, I think, just about 7 or 7:30 or so, and it was pretty chilly out, and the grass was rather dewy.
A little frosty, a little dewy.
A little frosty, but ended up being really nice. The start of it was really good. Ended up warming up really, really well, like the temperature, I mean.
Yeah. Yeah, not you.
No, my body's a fucking champ, so it doesn't matter how much I warm up. It was over from the beginning.
You're priming an old engine, so gonna flood
like a 79 Ford Ranger.
Yeah, that's for $5,000.
Yeah. No, it's more of a $2,000 truck. I just want $5,000 for it.
Yeah. To me, it's worth that much.
I think it's worth more.
The inside jokes are really gonna track well.
Yeah, of course. Everybody knows exactly what's going on.
Yeah, you guys know about that truck.
Yeah, of course.
That guy doesn't give a shit when lanes start. He just merges when he wants to. That's why. EVOC training, baby. This is gold. This is
I want to know what our fucking faces look like right now.
We're gonna find. It'll be on YouTube and Spotify. You can see how wide my eyes got when that guy just started braking in the middle of I-64 for no goddamn reason. There's nothing up here. Why were we all doing that?
That's why I'm laughing. If you guys can't see it, but the freeway's wide open right now. But the guy back there slammed on his brakes like he was about to hit the car in front of him, and there was no car fucking in front of him. Fuck!
God damn it. Sir, we are recording a Highland Games podcast. Have some respect.
Here's a merging lane that looks like a shoulder over here, so let me slam on my brakes and like go 2 miles an hour until I get on. That makes sense.
Jesus Christ. So anyway.
Hey, listen, honestly, hold on. Before we continue, excellent driving.
Thank you.
Oh, shit.
Look, I get certified every year. You know?
You're cooking.
This Tundra handles like a top. Handles like a 79 Ford Ranger.
For $5,000.
Yeah.
But realistically.
Yeah, I just blew $5,000 in tires and brakes. But, so.
At least we know that the actual braking system on this thing is.
Look, I just put new tires on it a few months back, which were expensive. I'm glad I did. So,
anyway, back to the thing we were talking about.
Before we get another one.
Yeah, before we wreck this thing.
If you're my insurance company, you didn't see this.
The game started well. We had a really good turnout outside of the guys that didn't show up. We had like all the DMs and the women and everything. That was a cool turnout. If we just kind of jump into the first event was.
Yeah, well, that reminds me of a thing that I didn't say in the episode that doesn't exist that I wanted to touch on. Everything worked out relatively well as far as athlete numbers. I had 3 to 4 drops, and then 3 to 4 people come in after registration closed.
Perfect. Yeah, there we go. Okay.
So all's well that ends well, but the love of God, people, when I close registration, is for my own sanity. So that the multiple messages afterward make me a little nutty. I have to reprint score sheets. I have to redo heavy athlete stuff, and it's not the end of the world because I love you all. But when I open registration in June and don't close it until 2 weeks before the game at the end of October, just register before registration closes, please. Just go on the website. Do it 6 months in advance. It's fine. So that's fine.
And honestly, that's the thing is as we're trying to make this all more official, right? Like we can't just be like, I'll just write you in.
Yeah.
No, we're trying to make this actually.
At a certain point, we're gonna have to do that. And be like, I'm sorry, I can't. Yeah. Go to the next one. Hey. But
there's more opportunities coming up.
This
one you gotta make sure.
I'm working with first-year venues, so the more people I can have show up, the better.
Yeah.
It looks better, and they'll keep coming back. But at a certain point.
Also,
when it's closed, it's closed. That's how
performances and people like to watch.
There's behind-the-scenes stuff. There's, hey, you guys are going to make us this many lunches. Hey, we need this many T-shirts and awards and gift certificates for prizes and element packets.
Even stupid stuff like spending enough space for parking your truck.
It is because I get a certain number of judges based on a number of flights, which is based on a number of athletes per group.
Sure.
And when that starts changing, it makes things tough. So, anyway, all right, first event. You guys went close to traditional order. You started with stones.
Yeah, I said it to me. I also said it to the episode I no longer exist, but all 3 of the Highland Games that I've done, it started and ended the same way. It started with stones, which is usually, I feel like every event, no matter what, it's always going to start with stones unless it's like some crazy occurrence or something that happened, but, and then we've ended with hammers, which I actually kind of like, but I know it's not very traditional.
I don't usually like it. I have to be so loose for hammer, and after I've thrown sheep and wob and caver, I am.
Well, I feel like that's kind of why I like it, though, because for me, there's a sense of, at the end of the day, after I've already done 8 events, or 7 events, I'm pretty tired, so it gives me a sense of, a little bit longer. So that's the way I look at it. I think that's why it's been going well that way, but, also, I also think I can throw 20 feet further,
if you're fresh.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Not trying to wing on a 56-pound lob for 18 minutes.
Yep. Oh, by the way, I did look you through 14 for wob.
Oh, okay.
Well, spoiler alert.
So I missed 15. I thought for some reason I got 15. I thought I did what I did today.
That's all right. Started with Braemar.
Yeah.
You finally cracked into a little club you've been trying to get into with Braemar.
Trying to break 40. That was, like I said, when I started, that was what I was told were, the clubs you wanted to be in. 60-foot club and 40-foot club. That's what I heard.
Yeah. And then we just looked, and no one else is in the 60-foot club.
Yeah, so I guess technically
the only pro this year to throw over 60.
Yeah, over 60. So it's pretty cool that I hit 60 in my last game, and then hit 40 this game. It's showing that the stones themselves are moving up. Obviously it's what my specialty is, and main reason why I've gotten into Highland Games, especially at a professional level. But it's nice to feel like those numbers are going up to where they should be. You know, there's that all that variability in stones and some of the fields and some of the other stuff has made it a little bit of a difficult thing. Like all those variables are kind of sometimes difficult to deal with. So yeah, almost perfectionism. You know what I mean? Like when it comes to shot putting, you know, all the shots are the same, 129 millimeter, and the concrete rings are all damn near the same, especially at the professional level. So it's difficult to navigate, but it's also a part of that, you know, that extra variability, like that actually makes it really challenging, that extra challenge. So yeah, it was cool to finally break 40. I think that if I get a Braemar like that one again, I think I can get something really far, especially if it gets me, like if it's a little bit. Like the one that we threw yesterday was a little bit long, but I like the fact that it had that round side and flat edge, like with my neck.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought that was cool to finally do that. I definitely don't think that's, you know, close to where I will be going with it, but it you know, the steps forward are great.
Yeah.
And that's ultimately like one of the things I felt all day yesterday, so that was good.
Yep. I'm going to pause you for 1 second, but turn off the Bluetooth so we're just using the phone mic. I think that may end up making this clearer.
Okay.
Should still be good for the rest of that, but let me see if I can. Alright, there we go. So now, I don't have to worry about my truck getting funky and cutting it out.
Yeah.
It should be coming from
It should be a little better. I think usually kind of the sound quality is clear.
Yeah, so. Yeah. Or I could be wrong, and this could all take a dive now.
Well, you know, as long as I got the almost crash on tape, I think the whole thing really comes together.
Yeah, that's a visual moment.
Yeah, the Scorsese of our Highland Game podcasting era.
Yeah, Goodfellas 6 is a piece of shit.
Goodfellas 6.
Two guys almost rear-ending.
Yeah.
Goodfellas 6.
Gracie Game edition. Yeah. So the Braemar went well, and then like as we walked or kind of moved into open stone, I've been dealing with like an internal. I should say internal, but like on the inside of my arm. Interior, there we go.
Versus anterior.
Exactly, yeah. Oh, great. So it's an anatomy lesson as well.
Yeah, for somebody that didn't study it.
No, but yeah.
Look, I know how to do one thing. We covered it earlier. We won't put it on the podcast.
Yes, exactly, right? Exactly.
Or
talking about it. Yeah, we talked about ad nauseam.
We're looking for a special guest.
There's one person in particular. But no, yeah, so on the inside of my arm, I've been dealing with this kind of like either inflamed UCL or like a strain at the bottom of my tricep, so that's really making it really painful. So I wasn't able to really throw the open stone with much force. I don't think I even took any extras now that I'm thinking about it.
I think you did.
I think I just did my
one.
I thought I did it because I thought I took my third and it really hurt.
It did. You know what? Yeah, you did. We said the same.
Yeah. So I took. Yeah, I just took kind of an easy throw and just kind of dumped it out there because my first throw really hurt. My first throw was like 57, because it was we kind of threw on a little bit of a down slope, so it kind of threw me off a little bit. So I fell at the front and I threw that 57 and it really hurt. And then I forget what the second throw was, like 52 or something like that.
Yeah, I think you ended with like a 54 fair mark or something like that.
Something like that. Yeah, but I just kind of dumped it. So it was kind of like one of those things. I was like, I just want that mark.
Yeah. If it's not a day we're going 62 plus.
Yeah, exactly. Well, exactly. That's the thing. Like, if I threw 61 and my elbow kind of hurt, I'd be like, no, fuck it, I want to go for it.
Yeah.
But like,
who needs an elbow?
Yeah, exactly. So it was also, I have a games coming up in a couple weeks too. The last thing I want to do is like blow out my elbow and be like, all right, well now I'm fucked for that entire game. So, so that's how the open stone went. Just kind of like done and dusted, like moved on from it.
Mm-hmm. And then you can keep going.
Oh, okay. No, I mean that was it.
Oh, just getting your face in there a little bit.
Oh, cool. Yeah. I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Really,
it is quite the wide.
More of this. Yeah. I want them to drink this in as much.
Well, it's a wide, fat face, so it's really hard to get a full screen of it.
It's really tough.
It is. Yeah.
So,
I mean, exquisite to look at. Yeah. To look at.
Yeah, in person it's marvelous.
Yeah. It's stumpy like my thumbs.
Like other things. No, anyway. So.
Yeah, you mean my big toe?
Yeah.
I definitely wasn't talking about other body parts.
Whatever. So, after that was weights.
Yes.
Heavyweight first. And that went well.
Yeah, so that was the thing that we talked about in the previous podcast that's now in somewhere in the
It's just in the past.
Yeah, it's somewhere.
Yeah, in the multiverse, somewhere that got recorded, and then no one got to watch me have that squealy tire moment earlier.
It's floating out there in the Neverland sort of area. You know,
it belongs
it's
to
nowhere at any. It's nowhere all at once.
If my CIA agent is watching this and you could shoot that original one to me, that'd be great.
Just got to pick from it a little bit.
Yeah, sort through the weird stuff.
The thing that I said in the last one was that I felt really, or the weights were the thing that I was probably happiest with in the day. Now, I don't think the distances were great, but I think that just the kind of like the movement forward, right? Like taking steps forward into some better technical progress and everything else made me happy, because it felt like at the end of both of those events that now I can go to training and be okay, that's how I want to make it feel.
Yep.
And then I can actually start to add the power that I think that I can put into it, right? That I think will actually make it go far. Because I think ultimately right now, none of the events, it has nothing to do with the weight. It has everything to do with like technique, which is crazy coming from a fucking pro shot runner where everything is fucking technique. To think that maybe it wouldn't be technique at all
crazy
for
to
another
think.
throwing event, right?
Yeah. That's wild. So,
but the heavyweight was one of those things. I think I feel like 33.8 you said or something.
Yeah,
like
33 and high change was your final one.
Yeah.
I think you ended your normal throws around the 30-plus mark, and then we ended up with.
No, I think that was my third throw.
Maybe.
I think it was my third throw, and then I threw like 32, 30.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, I knew then you hit in the 32, and then we were able to get you one past 33.
Well, I'm pretty sure my last three I threw 33 again, but I think on my third I threw that 33.88 or whatever. So I think it was within three. Like I said, it's not going to win any events. It doesn't really matter, but I need to get up into the 40s and stuff like that to actually be legitimate for playing. But yeah, I mean, like it felt good. It felt like I finally let the weight go by me. It felt like I was actually like a little bit more patient letting it get by me, and then actually attacking through, which was good when I needed to. Because that's kind of the thing with the weights specifically, is that I'm not adding power the right places. You know what I mean? Like I'm adding power too early, or I'm not catching up to it. So it's one of those things where I feel like I was getting to the point where I was getting close to hit the target. You know what I mean? So it was good to feel that.
Yeah. So moved on from heavy to lightweight.
To lightweight, yeah. Same concept, right? Like it just felt good to finally do a 2-turn. If anybody's seen me in my first 2 Highland Games, I was throwing like a gun like a discus thrower, and I didn't really know what the hell I was doing in the sense of being able to get my footwork the way it needed to be. And I was like, well, I'm a really powerful like shot putter, and I figured if I could kind of make it emulate like a discus movement, I could whack the hell out of it. The problem is those weights don't move like that. It's a 28-pound implement rather than a 4
on a chain.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
weird.
Instead of a 4-pound thing, so it's hard to you can't just come through and hope to pull your chest. You're gonna just tear a peg. So it was good to finally feel like I had my feet, towards the sector, a good first turn, and then actually being able to apply it into that second movement to the trig, right? Would you call the first a cast, right?
A cast.
Yeah, so my cast was much better.
They're cast and sprint are the two basic going through.
Yeah, it's very much like a cast, but it's like kind of like a South African kind of movement.
Yep.
So yeah, that felt good. It felt good to do that. I felt like my movement to the front was much better. Yeah. I felt like I could smack him.
You had one that was good and fast, but it was too up and down.
Yeah.
It wasn't linear, but then your last 2, we were able to get you actually driving forward on it, and that was a lot better.
The guy that was out there marking said that remember that one, I had one yesterday where I fell. Remember I ate it, and I fell on my ass. And I still stayed in, but it's still a no mark. But I stayed in. He said based on my 67 that over there was 70. That's what he said. Yeah. I forgot to mention that in the other podcast, but that's what he told me.
It's a little hard to gauge out there, but
Now, do I take that with anything more than one single grain of salt? No. But I'm going to take it to my grave.
Yeah. But I'm going to put it in my bio.
But basically what I'm saying is, basically what I'm saying is,
Olympian, put it in 70-foot lightweight.
Basically what I'm saying is it was probably somewhere in the 91 to 95 foot range. That's kind of what I was saying. So, no, but also, honestly, I meant to mention this too, is that you told me just to keep my thumb up. Yeah. And that kind of changed.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, shit.
It really does open your whole chest up.
Because it's the same thing with that discus movement, like I was telling you. I was throwing it with my thumb, level. And I was, coming around, and it almost felt like I was, topping it. Like my thumb was going down.
Yeah, it was twofold. One, you were falling left because your timing was off.
Yeah.
But then, 2, just turning your hand instead of...
Yeah.
You want to internally rotate all of that, whereas if you can keep that up, you
it's like
have an easier time to...
Yeah.
put that in the air.
Yeah.
All that meat.
Well, when you got 22-inch pythons, you know what I mean? You got to get those babies working.
It's just sick cut. It makes it look small. So the pattern's broken up.
Well, let me wear my fucking sleeves up.
Yeah, Sitka doesn't make tank tops.
You must have some fucking cash if you make a Sitka t-shirt into a goddamn.
Oh, I'm going to do it. You talking about a baller? I'm going to leave the gator and the hoodie on so I can pull them over.
So, but yeah, that's how that went. I think I ended up with like 67, 11, or 10 or something like that.
Yeah, high 67s.
Yeah, so that, I mean, like I said, neither one of those, the heavyweight or the lightweight, were anything super impressive, but they were definitely a step forward, which I think is more than anything a plus.
Well, I think typically, at least even from the AM side, like the 30-60 barrier is the like, this person knows something barrier. Like that's you're no longer just floundering or getting lucky. Like once you crack into those, you're like, oh, you put time and thought into some aspect of this.
Yeah. And like, you know, I really do think that if I was able to give it more time and effort in training, right? Like I definitely train. I think that's one of the common misconceptions that people are like, oh, he's just showing up and like not giving a fuck. That's not true at all.
No, you said you met one of your training videos.
Yeah.
It was really enlightening.
Yeah, exactly. Because I was super like happy in that moment.
Yeah.
And I was like, Highland Games are not
very good words that
it's not like Highland Games
would
are
have a problem
frustrating
with.
Super like PG, nothing bad. But yeah, no, I'm training these. So like now that I think that I have that, it's like I'm gonna have just a better understanding of getting into it and being like, okay, now I can take that to where I need to take it as a professional, right?
Yeah.
Like getting into the 70s, the 80s, stuff like that, getting way up into those bigger atmospheres. And like I said, especially as being a shot putter, now that I have my off season coming up, I can give it time. I can stay away from shot put for a little while. I should say shot put exclusive training. I'm still on stone, but like just giving more time to the event that you know require it to be given effort.
No, that's good. So I think then you guys went to Caver before lunch.
Yeah, the girls had lunch, and then we went to Caver, and like I said this in the last one, the Caver that the AMs had was beautiful. It was like pretty much like centered the entire way up and down. Like
very firm.
Yeah, very very firm, very straight, very rigid, very erect. Yeah. But yeah, it was like, I mean, obviously it was light, but it was just like a really beautiful Caver, to be honest. And then I told you when I got out there, I saw that, and I was like, well, there's no way I can do that. It's not legitimate whatsoever. That'd be like the tiniest pro Caver bowl.
Yeah.
So, the one that I had was super fucking Caver.
Yeah, it was 19 feet long.
Yeah. It was like 110 pounds or something like that, but it like...
It was cedar, and so it was like about 8 or 9 inches across the top, down to 3 to 4 inches at the bottom.
Real tiny at the bottom. So like every time I got it, you know, walked up to me, it was like reverberating in my shoulder. It was so I had to take a minute just to like get it to stop because it was like shaking on me. And so one of those things where like every time I shimmy down, I have to take a second to get it to stop. Like at the very bottom when it was real skinny, trying to just get my hands close to a point where I could just pick it up and go, it was like in a full squat. I was like, oh god, I felt like I was like in a level 4 earthquake kind of thing. So it was just it felt really whippy. Yeah, it was very whippy. So it was tough. So by the time I would even pick it up, too, that's the thing with it being so skinny, it would land on my hamstrings. Like it would land on like just my right palm and then like break my connection in my hands. So it got to a point where I was like kind of holding it, like my hand overlapping.
It's hard to pull like that.
Yeah, and it's just hard to pull. And like I said, my second pull, I probably got it to like 85 degrees, close to almost straight up and down. But it's just that was more just me like getting across. All right, well, I'm just gonna snatch the hell out of this, and I snatched the fuck out of it. So definitely one of those cavers that if I had 3 more attempts, I think I could have flipped just based on like getting a feel finally for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that caver and sheath, which we'll talk about next, will always be the things that will plague me the most because they are the most uncorrelated to what I actually do with rotational power.
Yeah.
Right? Everything I do with shot putting is all rotational power based, and caver and sheath are the two that are like it has no applicability. Like even in WAP, I do basically weight over bar drills for power output training and for shot putting.
Yeah.
But on a pitchfork with a bag and a tall tree that has a 3-inch bottom and an 11 or a 10-inch top, like you're just never going to have that kind of applicability. So those are always the things that kind of were playing me.
So then we went to Sheep.
Yeah.
You had to sit and wait for a little while after warm-ups because you were having to start at 21.
I just started 21 while they all
started at like 15,
I think.
We had a lot of new throwers.
Yeah.
So they went 15, 18, then you got to go at 21.
Yeah, and
nice new 20-pound bag.
Yeah, the bag was honestly really nice, and I actually love the fact that I made new holes on it because it sat really well on the fork.
Yeah.
Like, so it didn't have it, like, you know, some of those old bags are like, you're swinging it back and it feels like it's like sliding off the fork.
Yeah.
That one actually stayed on well, so it was nice. But, you know, when I did that, I was having some warm-ups before the thing started, and I was like, oh, I'm getting some really good pulls on this, and then I had to stop and wait. So by the time I got up, it was like, all right, just got to kind of hope for the best here. Got a great pull on 21. Skied it well over there, but the problem was that, like I said, with the uprights, it was like over the left side, and I was like, okay, I've got to try to direct myself so I'm not like throwing it way over to the left or way underneath, which is exactly what I did for 3 fucking attempts after that at the next height.
Yeah, 24.
I threw like 30 feet worth of power, but I just could not get it to go like
where you want
up.
Yeah.
I just kept throwing it like line drives every time. So that's just, unfortunately, like I said, it's just one of those events. And not having a fork and a bag at home makes it very difficult, but that's ultimately one of the things I have to just pull the trigger on. And if somebody out there has a fork that's a beautiful fork that you're no longer using, you could, maybe give it to a young, handsome, new
Still have a fork?
I'm pretty sure he does. He told me he has some. He told me he has some implements. I think he told me he has some implements. I think that's one of them we still have.
Yeah, what's he doing with them? Send them to me. Send them to him. Send them to someone.
Yeah, like I said, I honestly don't know what he has, but I thought he told me he did. I don't know.
He used to train a lot of off-weight implements. It'd be really good to get your hands on.
Well, that's what I'm saying, yeah. But for some of the events, it's what I've been doing. I told you, I've been throwing a lighter wob. I throw like a 50 or a 47 or something like that, and I throw my heavyweight. I sometimes throw a 40 just to kind of get my dynamic and also kind of get my movements going. But like ultimately, just trying to get ballistic. It's very, very, reminiscent of what I do in shop.
Now what you're going to be careful on, like when you're training with those, though, is to treat it the same way you did the 56 and let it get in front of you weightless before you move. Because it's going to be really tempting to start treating those lighter ones like lightweight and lock them in. But,
then like I said, after Sheep, we went to Wob and wait over bar. Same kind of concept. I had to wait for a little while because those guys were starting off at, I think, like 10, and I got in at, I think, either 12 or 13. I can't remember what I got in at, but...
ended up clearing 14.
Yeah, cleared 14. Missed 15. Like I said, it's the same fucking thing. I pulled the hell out of it, and then I hit the bottom of the bar every time. So it has nothing to do with the power, obviously. It was just a matter of getting it up and over. I keep kind of... When I get to that real heavy, or the real higher marks with that, I get a little bit shorter, a little bit more compact. So I start trying to rip it rather than letting it kind of go all the way through that long pull and get all the way back.
Justin was doing the same thing. Justin was out of practice, obviously. He just had a baby. He's been doing family shit.
Yeah.
But if you watched his watch the other day, he was just pulling from between his ankles.
Yeah.
Like, he wasn't getting behind him and getting himself high.
It's what he did yesterday. He did the same exact thing yesterday. I kept telling him to try to do that.
And he's taken shots at 15 before.
Oh,
but
yeah.
he couldn't hit 14 yesterday. And it was just...
But I'll be honest with you, he had an attempt, I think, at 13 that probably almost could have got him for 15. It was insane. Like, I was like, he hit it, because it took him all the way to his third attempt to get 13, and then he threw it, and it was like well over, and I'm like, dude, that's what you need to do right there.
Two more.
You're 6'7". Like, why don't you fucking do that? Yeah. So, that was, but just the same kind of thing, just trying to get to a point where I can get really high up with that triple extension. I've been doing a much better job loading it and getting all the way up to my toes, so I'm really finishing on there. But I need to get better at being longer with my short, stubby, chubby fuck arms that I have. Yeah. So that's kind of going to be a problem if I can't figure that out.
Yeah, it's going to have to end up getting loaded into your hips a lot.
Yeah, for sure.
Which is good. I mean, have to get deep and back behind yourself.
And that's my thing, though. Like, I'm really strong in that motion, so that's fine. I just have to figure out how to do that with that 56.
Yeah.
Do I have to give it a little bit more in the beginning to rock it back there? Do I have to do it a certain way? You know what I mean?
I think you're going to be getting used to hitting that position back behind you, getting that elbow to crotch and getting that upward.
Yeah.
I would imagine. I don't know. We can
I've never been in that position before, obviously.
Yeah, no, not even once.
I don't stick my butt out for no one.
No. We definitely
Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior!
But
don't touch me!
again, so yeah, then that was Wob, and then Hammers.
Yeah, and then so Hammers was what we finished on.
You know what I realized too? Maybe the reason that you're thinking you had a lightweight hammer PR versus not is if you're in there is Nicholas Ponzio versus Nick Ponzio for some of them. So
I guess maybe.
We need to
Could
check
be.
that and merge.
That's what I'm saying. I'm pretty sure my lightweight hammer PR, I think it's like 119 or 118 or maybe in the 120s. I thought it was something like that because I remember I threw one and I was like, damn, that seems like it's pretty decent for for being rather new at this because that's another thing too. Like I've never thrown hammer competitively, so it's one of those things where this is all newer when it comes to the competitive nature of hammer.
Yeah.
But the heavy one went pretty well. I think I feel like 86. I think.
You want to stop up here and get anything before we go in there? I'm up to you.
I mean, I will if you want to stop. Yeah.
Okay.
So I think I feel like 86. And that was not too bad. Definitely pretty fluid. At the end of the day, though, I thought I could have got in the high 90s if I was a little bit fresher. But the light hammer, I think it was like 105, so not great, but definitely felt really good. I felt like I was really smooth. I felt like I was getting a really deep third wind. I just don't have any blades yet, and that's going to ultimately be a problem because you got to get blades if you want to really hit those big marks. No one's throwing 150s and cleats like I'm throwing, so it's one of those things where you can grab the ground a little bit with those cleats, but you're not going to grab as much as like having a knife basically in the ground's going to do. So ended up going well, and then that was kind of the nature of the beast for the entire games.
Yeah, man. So that's it. We're about to
we're about to go in,
grab some water,
and
then
stuff before we go out and hit the blind.
Shoot some deer.
Hopefully get us about 6 deer in the back of our
just go ahead and tag out.
Exactly.
Forget that daily bag
Tag
limit,
out,
whatever.
Exactly. Yeah.
So.
Fuck it. Cool.
All right,
guys. Cool.
Now that one's done, and that'll process.
Sure that's processing? Okay, I was going to say, let's just make sure that's doing it.